Good morning. Welcome back to the final segment of CityLine. With me, I have two gentlemen who are here for a Sound Transit update. And I love Sound Transit. Sound Transit is the key to pretty much everything here in the South Sound, in my opinion. So please join me in welcoming Curvie Hawkins. You are the project director for Tacoma Dome Link for Sound Transit. Welcome, Curvie.
Hello.
Good to have you here.
Great.
And this handsome man next to you, Mr. Scott Thompson, you are the Public Information Officer for Sound Transit. Welcome, Mr. Scott.
Thank you, Amanda. Appreciate being here.
Good to have you here. All right, so we have a lot to get through because Sound Transit doesn't mess around. So for the first thing, we have two projects we're going to talk about. The first one is the Tacoma Dome, thank you, link extension. So Curvie, tell us about this project.
All right, thank you. Tacoma Dome Link Extension.
Yeah.
We often call it TDLE for short.
Love that.
It is a project, a 10-mile project approximately from Federal Way to the Tacoma Dome. It's going to extend light rail to Tacoma, connecting us to the region.
And here's a map.
So this project will have 4 stations: South Federal Way, Fife, East Tacoma, and at the Tacoma Dome. 2 new parking garages. Those garages will be in South Federal Way in Fife. And when it opens in 2030, 27,000 to 37,000 riders.
27,000 to 37,000 riders. Great. That is impressive and phenomenal at the same time. My goodness. So this project, let's say on a scale of 1 with it being just an idea and 10 with it being open tomorrow, where are we in this project in terms of development?
We are at step 1.
There we go. Okay, so this is the perfect time for the public to do what?
Right now, we want to get involvement with the public to help us plan the service, plan where stations will be, plan the alignment itself. So it's a great opportunity to start from the very beginning for the public to tell us how they want this project to have impacts on their community, positive impacts. But we also understand there could be some negative impacts, so we want to learn those as well. And as we get this input from the community, it will help us to build a perfect project. So when opening day comes, we'll have a project that everyone is excited about.
Wow, I love that. That is incredible. So there's going to be an open house.
There is the week of April 16th. We will have open houses. We will have those in Federal Way, in Fife, and as well as Tacoma. And throughout the month of April, we'll have an online open house as well. So again, we want to get input. We're going to provide information about the project to the community. And we want to seek input from the community to learn better about how this project can benefit the communities that they're in. The open houses will be on April 17th, will be in Tacoma. April 18th, they will be in Federal Way. And on the 24th, they will be in Fife.
There we go.
So Amanda, the Tacoma open house is going to be over at the Best Western over at the Tacoma Dome.
Nice, right there.
From about 6 to 8 p.m.
Good location. Everybody can get there. And I'm going to ask this question, but it's kind of a ridiculous question, but I got to put it out there. Who should attend, Scott?
I would say everybody should.
There we go.
Everybody should attend.
It affects everybody.
It really does.
From just the inception to the construction to the completion, and as you said, positive and negative. I mean, you need to know about people's bus stops and construction and what happens, and if you take this away, or if you add this, or I currently am a writer, and this is what I would like to see on this project. Right.
It's a chance for everybody to learn about the project, to provide feedback, to see what we're looking at, to really see where the alignment's going to go. Let me give you one other statistic too. When the line's completed, you're going to have from Tacoma Dome to SeaTac Airport a 35-minute ride.
That is beautiful.
So you'll fly through traffic. Forget about getting on I-5. You'll just be able to get on light rail and be at SeaTac in 35 minutes.
So what that says to people who are thinking of moving here is it says, we're accessible. You can have a great commute. You get 35 minutes to yourself today, we guarantee you. So come buy a house, shop here, have a family here, support our schools.
So by 2040, it's estimated we're going to have 64% more population in Tacoma.
Hallelujah.
So more than double what we have today.
There we go.
And we're really looking at increasing mobility. We're increasing regional mobility. Every person we get on light rail takes another car off the roadway.
There we go.
And congestion is what it is now. We all know if you're driving through 5 up to Federal Way.
The I-5 jive.
Yeah, the 5 curves, it's bad now, and it's not going to get better. So what we're looking to do is provide regional mobility. We're going to try to lessen that traffic congestion, and this is one way for us to build a whole regional spine from Tacoma all the way to Everett in the next 10 to 15 years.
I love this. All right, so let's get a little local here. We're going to shift some gears. So we have a second project, and that is the Tacoma Link extension. But we're going to talk about it in terms of like the Hilltop Link, so people understand the difference. Okay, so Scott, tell us about this project.
Well, this was really Tacoma Link was really our first light rail project in the whole Puget Sound here in Tacoma, back to 2009. So right now what we're doing, we're calling this the Hilltop Tacoma Link extension. We're going to extend from the current line all the way up to the Hilltop, and we have a map of it here. We're going to include 6 stations. We're going to relocate the one station that's currently in the theater district to the old City Hall, and we're going to go, as you can see, come up, and we'll go up Stadium and come down Martin Luther King Jr. Way right in front of your studios here. We'll have 6 new stations. We'll have one at Tacoma General. We'll have one down at St. Joseph Medical Center and along the way. And we're looking to start construction on that this coming fall.
Oh my goodness. Wow, that is quick. That is wonderful also.
And you have some of the renderings here. This is going to be a little bit different. We're actually going to be in line along the roadway. So you're not going to have elevated stations or underground stations. We're going to have stations right along the roadway, and which is going to really lessen the impacts to parking, lessen the impacts to construction, and I think make it an easy. I mean, there will be detours. You have those with any sort of construction project, but it's really going to be continuous along the roads, and these are just some renderings of the project.
Curvie, describe the process of getting a project like this completed.
So, for example, in the Tacoma Dome Link Extension project, early planning is involved. We want to work with the community to understand more about the basics of the alignment in the station. After that, we have to go through an environmental process. So we have to understand what the impacts are and how we will mitigate any possible impacts. Then we go through final design. So we'll work closely with the community to work on the details of what a project or a station could look like. And then after that, the fun part starts when you actually see the project being constructed. For a Tacoma Dome Link extension, for example, construction will start in 2025. So the project will start to feel real at that point.
Yes, absolutely.
And there's also environmental processes we have to go through with the project for not only the state, but at the federal level, where we have to do an environmental, analysis of, where the stations are going to be placed, where the alignment is going to be placed. How do we mitigate noise or wetlands or anything along those lines? So that's a long process as well too, and public input, throughout this whole process will help us, mitigate all those negative aspects of a construction project.
And that's just the key, public input. So are there any noticeable pre-construction activities happening before that third quarter construction begins, Scott?
There are. We're going to have a couple things happening. Here, later in the month of March, we're going to be working on redoing some of the concrete along the current alignment. And that's mostly going to be at night. I don't think there's going to be a lot of impacts during the day, but people will see and hear, the things that go along with replacing concrete, jackhammering, the concrete mixing, those types of things. And then coming up in late April through, I want to say, in late April through actually October, we have a lot of utilities that have to relocate their services. So we're talking about Puget Sound Energy, we're talking about water, sewer lines from Tacoma Power, and so they'll be starting a lot of those utility relocations that are part of this project. And we're working with the city of Tacoma to also do, as part of this project, do some curbside beautifications to add some ADA ramps along the corridor as well. So we're working closely with the city of Tacoma to make sure we do some beautifications that we can along that corridor as well. But you'll start to see those third-party, utility relocations that will start to impact things on the roadways and have some detours around, because you'd be amazed of what actually is under your road
Exactly.
every day. If you dug down in there, you'd be amazed of all the pipes and wires. And
So be patient, people, because there is an end result here, in the sense of, yes, we're putting paint on it, but we're also working on the foundation.
Right.
So just hang in there with us. I want to say thank you to both of you for taking time out of your obviously very busy schedule for being here today. And I also want to put out, I want you back. I want you back once we start this. I want the same dynamic duo here on the couch to give me the same reports, because the transparency on this is beautiful, and I think it goes a long way for people understanding how fortunate we are to live in this fabulous city. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
thank you.
For your time, talent, and the teams that you represent.
Appreciate it.
All right. Well, that wraps up another great segment of CityLine. It is always a pleasure and a privilege to be in your home. We've given you a lot of great things to think about in this last hour. So go out there, be a part of the tapestry, and above all, pay it forward. And when you come back, as always, we'll be waiting for you right here at CityLine. Take care.